Welcome back to the Buyer's Seminar. Now you've gone through several of the stages of home purchasing. You've worked with your lender. You've found the perfect house through your realtor and had that home inspected. The next step is let's get it all to the title company so that they can make sure that you have a successful closing. And essentially the title company has a lot of work that takes place behind the scenes. And during the process from the time the contract comes to the closing table, they will hold your hand, walk with you through the process, explain everything so that you know exactly what to expect during the process before the home actually gets closed. And of course, at the closing is when you get those keys that we love to turn over to you.
Hi, I'm Andy Mortenson with Bonita Title. Bonita Title is a locally owned and operated company. I'm the president and owner of Bonita Title. We've been in this market for the past 12 years, operating primarily in Lee and Collier County, although we can handle closings anywhere in the state. We're licensed throughout the state of Florida. Part of what Bonita Title does, we kind of hold your hand, the buyer's hand, throughout the process. Once that contract is signed, that's where we kind of come in. And we like to see ourselves, just like Brad and Alice have said, we like to kind of walk with people, inform them throughout the process, give them guidance throughout the process. That's our role for you as the buyer. We want to make it as seamless and as easy as possible. We do a lot of things behind the scenes that you'll never see as a buyer. We're in constant communication with the lenders, the realtors, inspectors, all the people that are involved in the transaction. That's we're kind of behind the scenes quarterbacking a lot of that activity. So part of so you've signed a contract. You're buying a house. So that's where we come in. Our role, and this is in your handout. I gave you a little timeline, and it's called Prepare to Close. It's kind of some of the essential things that we're doing throughout the process. So you get a contract signed. Usually your realtor will forward that contract to us or drop it off at our office. And at that point, we'll collect typically a buyer deposit. Usually the contract calls for a deposit to be made. We'll collect that from you. You can do that via check or cashier's check or typically a wire. So that's the first step in the process. From there, we'll take the contract. We'll start our title search. We'll order what's called a title commitment. We work with an underwriter. Our underwriter is Old Republic. They do the actual search of the public records of that property, of that owner, to determine if there are any issues with that property that buyers need to know about, the agents need to know about, anything that would affect the transferability of that property. So we're working behind the scenes on that title, on those title aspects. So we do that title search. We'll contact you, the buyer. We'll contact the sellers. We'll contact the agents. We'll contact lenders. We'll work with them to get that portion of the process started as well. And then we'll get that title commitment in. We'll review the title commitment that comes in from our underwriter. There are many things that'll be listed on that commitment, that things that we need to take care of. They're called requirements. We'll make sure that we're getting any payoffs. We're making sure the taxes are paid. Making sure that the association has approved you as the buyer. We'll kind of walk you through that too. If you haven't already done that, we'll help you to get in touch with the management company or the association to get your application submitted so you can get approved. We'll work with them to figure out what the fees are, what the dues are. If you have to make any additional capital contributions to the community that you're purchasing in. So those are, again, things that we're working on. All of this is behind the scenes, but we're informing you throughout the process. We're going to give you and your agent a copy of the title commitment, which is the title search, so you can take a look at it as well. So we're reviewing any issues that come up. At that point, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna order payoffs from the seller. We're gonna make sure that there are no liens on your property. We want to make sure that we're paying off any mortgages existing. We're also gathering information from the seller. and the buyer. We want to find out from you, are you going to be here for closing? Are you going to be local, or are you going to be, out of the area? Are you going to be traveling? The nature of this area, there are many people that don't live here full time. So we're constantly sending documents out, throughout the country, sometimes overseas even, to get documents signed. And once we're ready to close, we're going to work with the lender, Van Dyke. We're going to work with Brad and his team. We're going to get those mortgage documents. We're going to put the settlement statement together, so you know exactly what you need to bring to closing. We're going to have the real estate agents as well review that closing statement so that they can make sure that anything that they're aware of, that's also been accounted for. It's just kind of another set of eyes for someone to look at that. And at that point, it's a great point to ask any questions like, what are these fees? If you haven't already been had that answered by either the lender or the real estate agent, you're going to want to come back to us and say, hey, we don't understand. Why are you charging this? What is this proration? Explain to me why we're giving the seller a prorated portion of the association dues, or why are they giving us credit for taxes? These are things that all need to be accounted for on the closing statement. So we're going to walk through that with you and explain those things to you. At that point, we're also, like I said, we're going to give you the amount that you need to come to closing with. It used to be that you could come to closing and just write a check. And I still have people actually say, can I just bring a check? It's no longer an acceptable way to bring funds for closing. Even cashier's checks, typically we don't accept unless you get them like a week ahead of time. So now wire transfer is the only way to close. The funds that we need for the day of closing have to be good funds on the day of closing. So the wire transfer is the way to go for that. We'll give you plenty of time to get that arranged with your bank to make sure that they can get that out and get it to us before closing. And then it's closing time. We're going to set up an appointment with you to meet in our office if that works best. If you can't get to the office, we're going to make arrangements to get to you. If you have to work or you're somewhere else, you just can't make it to the office, we're going to bring those documents to you so that we can get them signed, or we'll arrange for a mobile notary to come meet you. So we'll go over those documents. We'll tell you exactly what's in those documents, what your note is, what your mortgage is, the terms of all those documents. There's, several other disclosures that you'll have to sign. It usually takes 45 minutes to an hour to go through a closing package with a buyer or borrower. So just kind of set some time aside on the day of closing so that you can. It's a big deal. It's an important day, obviously. So you want to make sure that everything goes well. So set aside some time that day for that event. It's a big event. At that point, once we get all the documents signed, the seller's already signed their documents. The lender's going to send us their wire. We'll have received your wire, and then we're going to get approval from the lender to disperse, and we're going to hand over the keys, which is kind of the culmination of that day. That process is giving the keys. If we don't give them to you, your realtor will give them to you. But that's kind of the icing on top of the cake. And then there are some things behind the scenes afterwards that we'll do. We're going to disperse funds to the seller, to the real estate agents. But after closing, we're going to get all the documents recorded from closing. And then we'll submit those to the county clerk. And then in about 2 to 3 weeks, we'll send out copies of those recorded documents along with your title policy. Your title policy is kind of a big deal. It makes sure that you are insured as an owner of the property, that if there are any claims that come up, that those claims are handled by your policy, that they're covered by your policy if there were any claims that came up. We've never had a claim, thank you God. We hope never to, but it's inevitable. At some point, everybody will have a claim of some sort. But we've never had that. We're blessed by that. So we just, again, our role in this transaction is kind of walk you through it. We do a lot of things behind the scenes that nobody really knows about or cares about, I guess. They're just kind of things that nobody really would have a lot of interest in. Title insurance is kind of actually boring. It's not like being a realtor and you get to show people these exciting houses and stuff like that. But we like to be informative. We like to walk you through the process. That's really what kind of drives us in this whole transaction. So thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for watching our buyer's seminar. We do hope that you have found the information that was provided to be beneficial to you. For more information, or if we can be of any assistance to you in finding your next home and helping you through the buying process, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. One of the key factors of the Treasure My Home team is that we are here to serve. We live and breathe by that, so please don't hesitate to call. Our numbers will be provided here on the screen, as well as our email address, and also throughout the series you saw the various vendors' names and contact information. All of these folks are more than happy to assist you during this process. Thank you again, and if we can be of service, just give us a call.